Okay, chapter 10, Trigonometric Identities and Equations. So what we'll be covering is calculate the sine, cos and tan of any angle. Not an issue, we have our calculator. Know that the exact trigonometric ratios of 30, 45, 60. Yes, we'll be doing that. And then we will be touching these identities. So let us first start with 30, 45 and 60. How do we write the exact values? One way is definitely you can use your calculator. The other way is the introduction of a triangle. Trigonometric identities. So I'm starting with a square and I says this side length is 1. So if it is square, all sides are 1 and all angles are of 90 degrees. Then we split the square in two by drawing a diagonal and we take out one triangle, one required triangle. So this is our basic required triangle. This is 1, this is 1, this is 90 degrees. Because we just drew a diagonal, we know that it splits into 45, 45 each. Now solve for this unknown side x. So this is x square is equals to 1 square plus 1 square using Pythagoras theorem. This is 1 plus 1 square root both sides. So x is equals to square root 2. So now we know that it is square root 2. This is one of the triangle and we need to memorize it. Second triangle. If you draw an equilateral triangle with side 2 each, and we know the angles are 60, 60 and 60. Again, draw a vertical line, or you say line of symmetry, which splits this triangle in half, and pick out one of the triangles to see that this is 2. Now this becomes 1 because we split it into half. This becomes 90 degrees as the line is line of symmetry and vertical. This is still 60 degrees and these two angles were divided in two parts. So it becomes 30 degrees. Now 2 and 1 using Pythagoras theorem I'm going to find this x. So 2 squared is equals to x square plus 1 square. 2 square is 4 minus 1 equals x square. X square is equals to 3 and x is equals to square root 3. So we can now replace this x with square root 3. Now these are the two triangles we need to memorize for us to give the exact values of 30 degrees, 60 degrees and 45 degrees. So this is 30, this is 60, this is 45. Let us clear this space so we can see them all in one page. So if the examiner asks you about sine 30, cos 30, tan 30, you can also use your calculator, but from this triangle I can see that sine 30 is 1 by 2. Same triangle cos 30 is square root 3 by 2. Tan of 30 is 1 by square root 3. So we're done with 30. So let's try 60. Sine 60, cos of 60, tan of 60. So sine 60 is 60 degrees, perpendicular over hypotenuse, square root 3 by 2. Cos of 60 is base over hypotenuse, that is 1 by 2. Tan of 60 is perpendicular over base, so that is square root 3 by 1, so no need to write that. So we're done with sine cos tan of 30 and 60. Last is 45. So sine 45, cos 45, tan 45. Now looking at the first triangle, for sine 45, perpendicular over hypotenuse is 1 by square root 2. Cos 45, base over hypotenuse, 1 by square root 2. Tan 45, perpendicular over base, that is 1 by 1, so I'm just writing 1. Now the main topic in this chapter is trigonometric identities. So here we go with our first identity, that is sine theta is equals to cos 90 minus theta. So if you know that we are talking about sine 30, so when we subtract 90 minus 30 we get 60. These two angles are always in sum of 90, that means they're complementary. So you see, if we talk about sine 30, it is equal to cos 60. If I say this is sine 30, that will be cos 90 minus 30. That means the sine of 30 is equals to cos of 60. They're always complementary. So can you see sine 30 and cos 60 are they equal? Then compare these two, cos of 30 and sine of 60. Are these two equal? So this is your first identity. Sine theta is equals to cos 90 minus theta. Yes, apart from this, because 30, 60, 45 are fixed. So if we are done with 30 and 60, yes, we can choose any angle. Sin x is equals to cos 90 minus x. For example, I say sin 10. So it would be equal to cos 90 minus 10, and sin 10 is equals to cos of 80. For now, I'll have to use calculator because I cannot answer it directly for 10 and 80. So let me punch this. Sin 10 is 0.1736. 1736. Now I'm checking for cos of 80, and that's again 0.1736. So this is the first identity. For example, if I give you this triangle and I say that this angle is 23 degrees, and I say sine 23 is equals to whatever it is. I said sine 23 is equals to y, and I ask you cos 67. So we'll first check if they are complementary or not. Adding these two we get 90. So I can say cos 67 is equals to y. Why so? Because of this identity. Cos s is equals to sine 90 minus x, or sin x is equals to cos 90 minus x. It is exactly the same thing. The angles are complementary. Is this part clear for 30, 60, 90 and 45? So what we can do is, without using calculator, definitely it would be there, but without using calculator we can answer for 30 degrees, 45 degrees and 60 degrees. How? We have memorized these two triangles. This is 1, 2, square root 3, 90, 60, 30. First triangle. Second triangle, 90, 1, 1, square root 2, 45, 45. Two triangles. And what we can answer beyond that is 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180, 270, 360 and so on. How? Because we know this sketch. If this is a cos curve, I know the exact value at 0, that is 1. At 90, that is 0. At 180, that is minus 1. At 270, it is 0. At 360, it is 1. So for cos of 0, cos of 30, cos of 45, cos of 60, cos of 90, cos of so on till 360, 180, 270, 360, we can directly give the exact values without using calculator. So cos of 0 from this graph, it is 1. Cos of 30 from this triangle, cos is base over hypotenuse, that is square root 3 by 2. Cos of 45 from this triangle, that is base over hypotenuse, it is 1 over square root 2. Cos of 60 again from this triangle, that is base over hypotenuse, 1 by 2. Cos of 90 from this graph, we know that this is 0, 90, 180, 270 and 360 degrees if we label the x-axis. So from the graph, cos of 90 is 0, cos of 180 is -1, cos of 270 is again 0, cos of 360 is 1. So first topic is exact values of sine cos tan from the table and graph. Clear? And without looking at the table or graph, if we write the complementary angles, so 90 and 0 makes a sum of 90, so sine 90, I'm writing complementary, and then this is sine 60, 30 plus 60 is 90, and again sine 45 plus 45 is 90, then 60 is already written, so I'm writing sine of 30, 90 is already written, so I'm writing sine of 0. I'm making them complementary. Sum of these two angles is 90. Complementary angles, we know the identity that they are equal, so I'm just copying it. 1 square root 3 by 2, 1 by square root 2, 1 by 2, 0. There are different ways you can answer them. You can answer them directly from table or graph, but yes, if you know this extra knowledge, you can directly copy paste. If the examiner asks you that state the reason, this is the reason. Sin x is equals to cos 90 minus x, which we proved right here in the first step. He won't be asking about proofs. You can straight away use the identities without any proof. You can directly use them. Okay, now see what do we have after this. So angles in all four quadrants, we covered it in our last class. First quadrant, second, third, fourth, known as basic angles. So this is sine curve, we've covered it. Let's see, write down the values of 90, 180, 270, still again from the graph. So we know from the graph, if I don't do, okay, let's do it. So by looking at it, this is 90, at 90 we know that sine is 1, at 180, this point is 180, so sine 180 is 0, 270, this point is 270, so it is -1. I'll draw this sketch. Please try for these D, E and F. If I draw the cos curve, what would be the answer for the first part? -1. And what would be the answer for -90? Now if you see, I have not drawn it in negative axis. He's asking about -90. Can we solve it for positive 90? That's right. For positive 90 it is 0. If you draw it in the reverse direction, you know that it is symmetrical. So that's again 0. Yes. So for cos 45. Now it is not necessary that you sketch your graph till 450. If I see, I know that this is 0, this is 90, this is 180, this is 270, this is 360, and 450 is something beyond that. So I'm just subtracting to see 450 minus 360, and it is 90 degrees. So it actually reaches this point again. So cos of 90 is actually equal to cos of 450 because both of them have the same basic angle. Let me give one more example for this. For example, my first angle was 10 degrees. This is 10. Okay. So if it was 10, so if I complete this circle and come right here again, may I say this is 370 again? Good. 360 till it completes the circle. No, we always start from positive x-axis, this point, this blue line. We always start from here. So 370. So we can say that 10 and 370 both have the basic angle same, which is 10. Now look at this. So I'll draw it slowly as I speak. 90, 180, 270, 360. One cycle. Then another cycle making it 720. And I stop here. May I say this is 730? So if I say cos of 10, or I say cos of 370, or I say cos of 730, we know that all of these three have the same basic angle, that is 10. All of them, they lie in the first quadrant, so all are positive, so these all are equal. Yes, Mohammed. Three hours of math? That's cool. Okay, I'll make it colorful headache. So let me sketch a little bigger so it hurts less. We have this line which is 20 degrees. So angle in green is 20. So cos of 20 is equals to something. Then I'm drawing it with red. 1 and some more. So may I write cos of 380? Then I'm drawing it in blue. This is one circle, this is second circle, and we stop it here. So first circle is 360, second again is 720, 720 plus 20 is 740. So whatever the value is, all these three are equal and same sign. One more thing, let's try this. We knew first was 20, we knew second was 380, we knew third was 740. Now one more in this black. Okay, so it won't hurt more. If I draw it like this, one complete is 360, but I stop right here and tell you that this angle is 700. What would that mean? Telling that this is 700, what is the value of x? Use your calculators. Anyone? If it is 700, what is the value of x? That is 20. Yes. That's right, it is 20. Because we know one cycle is 360, another is 720. So what should it be? This is 720, this is 700, it is a gap of 20. So cos of 700. To our surprise, the basic angle is 20. In 380, the basic angle is 20. In 340, the basic angle is 20. In cos 700, the basic angle is 20. So all these four are positive and equal, because cos is positive in add sugar to coffee. We are talking about cos, so it is positive in first and it is positive in last. And all the angles we've written, they are all in first or last. So yes, they are equal because the basic angle is same. And they are positive because it lies in all or it lies in cos. If it would have been sine, sine of 20, sine of 380, sine of 740, sine of 700. Again, all these are same basic angles, but first quadrant sine 20, first quadrant positive. Sine 380 first quadrant positive, sine 740 first quadrant positive, sine 700 last quadrant add sugar, that is negative. Values would be same but with a negative sign. For example, I'm punching 7 sine 20 in calculator and I get 0.34. So sine 20 is 0.34, this is again 0.34, this is again 0.34, but the last one is negative 0.34. Why the value is equal? Because the basic angle is equal. Why is it positive, negative? It depends on which quadrant it lies. Clear or funny? Thank you. Now look at this. It says write down the values of this, and it would depend definitely if he is asking you to use the calculator or not. Tan 45, we know we can use this triangle right here. So let me just open it up and we can compare, so I don't have to draw it again and again. So tan 45, use this first triangle and see that tan 45 is 1 by 1, so it is 1. Now see tan 135, before we do it, it should lie here in the second quadrant, and I'm checking that what the basic angle is. So 180 minus 135, and I get to see it is 45. So basic angle is 45. It should be 1, but is it positive or negative? Add sugar to coffee. Tan in second quadrant is positive or negative? Negative. So it is -1. Now look at tan 225. This is 0, this is 90, this is 180, this is 270. So we know 225 would lie in which quadrant? First, second, third, fourth. Tan 225 would lie in which quadrant? It lies here. It is less than 270, it is more than 180. So this is 225. Now check for basic angle 225 minus 180, and the difference is again 45. So first, second, third, is it +1 or -1? Add sugar to coffee. Can't hear you. Tan 225, yes, that will be positive. Now look at tan -45. So -45 means now we are moving in clockwise direction. So if we move in clockwise direction, this is where we end, -45. So tan 45 is actually 1. We already have that answer in A part. Just tell me, will it be positive or negative? It lies in fourth quadrant. -1, right. Now tan 180 and tan 90, we can solve these from our sketches. Yes, this right here, tan 45 is in anti-clockwise direction, tan -45 is in clockwise direction. These two you have to memorize them. These two encircled. You will be having your calculators with you, but memorizing them would make things much easy and quick. And this we just missed it. Tan 180 and tan 90, you can sketch the graph, sketch it quickly. This right here. So we know tan 90 is basically infinite, tan 180 is 0, tan 90 is undefined, and tan 180 is 0. This is the same theory. Add sugar to coffee. In first quadrant, all are positive. Sine, cos, tan, positive, positive, positive. Sine, cos, tan, only sine positive, both other negative. Sine, cos, tan, only tan positive, both other negative. Sine, cos, tan, only cos positive, the other two negative. So find the signs of sine theta, cos theta, and tan theta in the second quadrant. So in the second quadrant, this is add sugar to coffee. So we know the signs. Sine is positive, other two are negative. Now this is again the same theory of basic angle which we covered in the last class. We'll do it quickly. If this is 5 degrees each, so please answer this marked angle. It is theta. Is what is this marked angle? Please answer before I run out of ink. This is 5. And what about this? 175. And this third one, 185, right? And this fourth one, 355. I just supposed 5 just to discuss one of the case. So suppose we take it, we usually do it with 10, 20, 30, so we don't have to like use the calculator. A quick understanding: if this is 30, so what would this be? If this is 30, this would be, thank you, and this would be 210, and the last one, this would be 330. So whatever it is, all the basic angles were 30. So sine 30, sine 150, sine 210, sine of 330. I'm going to see from the calculator that sine 30 is 0.5. So if I write 0.5 here, all of these are 0.5 with only one difference, and that is, we know that add sugar to coffee. Sign is positive in first two, so these two are positive, these two are negative. Where will this concept help you? Examiner suppose gives you an exam that sine 5 is equals to 0.087, and he's asking the value of sine 185 and asking you to do it without calculator. So you'll first see where 185 lies. This is 0, this is 90, this is 180, and it goes beyond 180, and you see it is 185. First thing you see is that the basic angle is 5. This was 5, this is 5. So you copy this 0.087, but you know that sign is positive in first two and negative in last two. You put a negative sign here. Now you see, express in terms of trigonometric ratios of acute angles. Sine negative 100, cos 330, tan 500. We'll come to this later. Let us do these two first, which are positive. If it is cos 330, is this the right position? May I say this is 330? What would this angle be marked in blue? 30 degrees. So can I say 330 cos 330 or cos 30? They have the same value. Because the basic angle is same and both are in the quadrant which is positive. If you want to check, you can see cos 330 and cos 30 in your calculator. If it is okay, can we go to tan 500? Okay, so for tan 500 we again draw this sketch, and I see that 500, when I take away 360, I find it is 140. So that means it is one complete circle and then again 140. So this one complete circle is 360, then 140 should come somewhere here, more than 90. So this angle right here is 140. If this is 140, this must be 40. Do we have an agreement that it is 40? Now we know that tan 500 actually lies in second quadrant. Is it positive or negative? Negative. Add sugar to coffee. Yes, it is negative. What happens when I write tan 40? I'm copying this 40 from this point, that it is basic angle. We know that tan 40 is acute and it lies here. In the first quadrant, all are positive, so I'm putting a negative sign here. Now I can say these two are exactly equal. Tan 500 is equal to negative tan 40. Any doubts? Now coming to sine negative 100. Negative angle means we will be moving clockwise. So we draw this first, and moving clockwise, making an angle of 100 degrees, this would somewhere land here. This is negative 100. What will this angle be? Marked in blue. This complete is 180. So you take away this 100, you're left with 80 degrees. Oh, I'm sorry, I heard 70. So I'm writing it sine 80 degrees. That's right, 80 is right. Okay. Okay. So sine 80 degrees. Now, why are we going for these basic angles? Because it was the demand of question to write acute angles. So it is sine 80. Now I'm going to check. Originally it was in the third quadrant, and we know that add sugar to coffee. Originally, is it positive or negative? If it was in the third quadrant, would it have been positive or negative? For sine. Was it positive or negative? Sine minus 100. It lies in the third quadrant. So is it positive or negative? Negative. So we know the original value was negative, but sine 80 actually is positive. So we need to put a negative sign here. Clear? Okay. Draw diagrams to show the following angles. Mark in the acute angles that OP makes with x-axis. So first one, negative 80. We draw it like this, and the acute angle is also 80. For B part, 100. We draw it like this, and the acute angle is 80 degrees. Are you getting it? First we sketch, then we write the acute angle. For D part, 165 appears here, and the acute angle is 15 degrees. Now you'll solve C part. It is 200, so moving anti-clockwise, it appears here. And what will this acute angle be? 20 degrees, right? Negative 145. So it moves in clockwise direction. It ends here. So if it is 145, what would this be? 35 right. And I'm forgetting the third person, how he sounded like. He left? Okay. 225. So we know it lies here before 270 and after 180. So what would this angle be? You can use your calculators. 45 degrees, that's right. So this is something like, you see, without using the calculator, write down the values of this. So this is something which will give you the grip after practicing some of the questions. Choose random questions, you have the answers at the end of the exercise. Now these are the triangles which we covered. You also have them in book and at OneNote if you want to access that. So 30, 60, what we can do till now is we can answer for 30, 60, 90, 45, 0, 180, 270, 360 and beyond that. If we are given with one of the basic angle and the value, we can answer many of the questions. All those who have the same basic angle. This is again same. And this is something new. We'll inshallah do it tomorrow. Identities part. If there is something you want to ask, you may. Okay. Okay.